Tonight we're going to talk about how to set up goals, especially with the New Year's. But we can always set up goals even if there's no New Year. And one of the problem with setting up goals is that we don't have enough passion about setting up the goals that we need to set up, and we don't know how to find a passion. And uh, then finding the passion, it's very important in setting up goals. Of course, we're going to have goals where we're not going to be passionate about because we have a family. Well, hopefully we're passionate about the family, and sometimes we have a job that we might not be passionate about the job, and that happens. But even with that, there is something within that job that is going to have a little bit of passion. Maybe just interacting with people and being social and making a friend at work, or liking your boss. Maybe you're going to be passionate about liking your boss. So, always we can find some sort of passion when we set up goals. And losing weight and quitting smoking, they're not the only goals that are to be set up, although a lot of people set up those goals. And we can start small. If we don't know how to set up goals, we can start small and then always develop later. Um, and the way to find what we're passionate about, so we can use the passion to set up the goals, because we need to be motivated to achieve the goals. And if we set up a goal for which we're not really motivated, for example, people want to quit smoking, but they're not motivated. They just say they want to quit smoking, but not really. They're very passionate about smoking. So if they're passionate about smoking, how are they going to quit smoking? So this is how our passion is important, and finding your passion is also important because it's going to help you set up the goals, and it's going to help you achieve the goals. And the passion doesn't have to be your hobby necessarily, although it can be your hobby. If you're fortunate enough to make money off your hobby, yay for you. But a lot of people are not fortunate enough to make money off their hobby. But maybe if your goal involves a hobby or a new behavior, maybe you can develop that new hobby and change not all of your habits, but a little bit of your habits, so you can incorporate in the time you allocate for that goal. Um, but what's always going to help is make a list of your talents. What are you talented at? And you not having talents, that doesn't exist. It's just you ought to be talented at something. Everybody has a talent. Um, Hopefully it's not criticizing other. That's not a talent. You want to cut that off your list. But other than that, everybody has a talent, and if this talent is related to your job, yay for you. But maybe this talent is not necessarily related to your job, but maybe you can incorporate your talent into whatever goal you set up. We don't set up goals only for work and for job. And if we set up goals only for work or for job, um, we miss on setting up goals for a relationship, for example. Yeah, and relationships don't have to be um, romantic, and that don't have to be a family or significant other, although it's a very good idea to set up a goal with your significant other. How are you going to improve your relationship, and what are you going to do about it? Because you can't just wish you're going to improve your relationship and then you're going to do nothing about it. I mean, wishful thinking. If you do the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results. So at that aspect, if you're not sure about your talents, you can ask your loved one. Sometimes your loved one see things about you that other people don't, and maybe you don't necessarily see. Um, something that you're talented at. Or maybe you're talented at nurturing others, and being nurturing to others, that's actually a talent. Not everybody is capable of being nurturing. So maybe you're talented at having empathy. Not everybody has empathy. So it doesn't have to be a talent where you have to sing, or you have to perform, or you have to have a hobby. It doesn't have to be that kind of a talent. So whatever you're good at. So what are you good at? Other than criticizing, we're not gonna have been good at criticizing. No. So what are you good at? And ask your loved ones. Maybe you don't know all that you're good at. So ask your loved one, and then also look at the long-term interest in your life. What does interest you for long term? Maybe it's interest you to have a relationship, to build a better relationship with your significant other. Or maybe you have a long-term goal to find your birth parents, if you're adopted. Or maybe you have a long-term to whatever pops up. So it doesn't pop up to me a lot of examples of a long term, but whatever long term that you have. Losing weight is going to be a long term. Quit smoking, hopefully you can get it done in 4 hours with the hypnosis. Yeah, but losing weight is going to take a little bit of time. And then you need to be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, if you lie to yourself, it's not going to help you. And if the goal you set up, you're not very good at the task that require you to set up the goal, maybe you can improve that particular task, right? And always make a list that dominate your conversation. If you have an inclination to talk about a particular subject, you might find that you have a talent about it, and then you're passionate about it. You're always going to find me passionate, talking passionately about hypnosis, and especially about Ericksonian hypnosis. And Randy here with me, he's passionate about hypnosis. So me and Randy started to talk about hypnosis how long ago, and we found out that we talk and talk and talk, and it just time goes by and we keep on talking. So we figured to offer this to you, so you can so you can benefit from it, because it's our passion. So Ericksonian hypnosis is not the only thing that we're passionate about, but we're also passionate about helping you make better choices. Because if you make better choices towards the goal that you want to achieve, then you're going to achieve the goal. It's that simple, right? And sometimes if you still don't know what you're passionate at, if you still don't know what your talents are, you can find ways to get involved in a community. Because when you're involved in a community and when you're involved with a group, you might end up having to perform a particular task that you never performed before, and you might find out that you're very good at it. Like a lot of volunteers, they find out that might be very good at something they never knew before because they never had to perform that task. So that's something that's an option for you to see about improving your task. Then always helping others is going to help you find out, always think about yourself. So something that I'm always good at, it's multitasking. Yeah, doing a podcast like this is not very, very simple, and I had to learn a lot of new software, and that's so much involved into doing this. When you do a live with your cell phone, that's very easy. But right now I'm streaming to multiple channels, and that requires me to purchase software, and just to have this PDF on screen and the Zoom link into that. There's a lot of there's a lot of software that is involved in here. So it requires me to learn what to click on at a particular time. If I click on the wrong time, that everything goes poof, and it's not going to be good, and then it's not going to help you. And then here it is, me exercising my passion, but then I'm not good at a task that require me to exercise my passion. So this is how it works. Um, Finding a mentor, it's always a good idea to find a mentor. You can, if you can afford, but sometimes if you get involved in a community, you might be able to find a mentor for which you don't have to pay. So oftentimes finding a mentor requires some sort of financial budget, but sometimes it doesn't. So hopefully we're bringing you a lot of information here that you can put to use, um, so you can set up the goals, so you can find a motivation that requires you uh, um, to perform certain tasks that are going to help you achieve the goal that you set up the goal. For example, if your goal is to lose weight, and this is not the only goal, but it's a good example, if you set up to lose weight, if you don't change your diet, I don't know what's going to change. Your pounds are not going to drop. So you have to change your diet and your exercise routine. So you have to burn calories, and you have to have a lesser amount of calories, and then add to that an exercise routine so you can burn calories. Because you're not going to burn calories by doing nothing and eating the same amount of foods, the same amount of calories, and doing that. This is just is not going to happen. And it's true that a lot of people go about losing weight and nothing happens, or they work very hard and they don't achieve the results that they were hoping to. But I recommend that you keep on going, even though these people may have hormonal difficulties, because there are so many hormonal imbalances that that they play a role in you having to work a little harder in losing weight. Um, then then just take your time and keep working on it and set up smaller goals to achieve each month. So maybe you lose 1 pound a month. So it's going to take more work for you if you have hormonal imbalances, or maybe you're right after giving birth. It's going to take some time to drop that weight, unless you're that particular type of women that it's just she has to do nothing to lose weight. So you're probably not that type, uh, and someone with diabetes is going to have a hard time to lose weight. They also diabetes sometimes manifests as dropping weight, but not all the time. And then there's thyroid disorders, and if you have a thyroid disorder, a low thyroid, a slower thyroid, that's going to not be your friend when you set the goals to lose the weight. But I recommend don't get discouraged. Keep on doing what needs to be done to achieve that goal. And maybe you'll find that you're passionate about studying about hormonal imbalances, or maybe studying about thyroid, maybe finding out how you can help your thyroid to function better with diet, because you'll be surprised how food intake helps so many things in the body, a lot of things, right? So how do you get to develop your passion? A lot of people don't know how to develop their passion. They just go about work and worrying about having enough finances to do what they want to do. But doing what they want to do involves some sort of passion. If your passion is just to socialize with people, then that's your passion. And that's a skill that can get you somewhere. If you like to socialize with people, there are plenty of jobs that require you to talk to people, right? So there's there's more to it than you might think. But then people that don't know how to set up a passion, you can begin to network with others. Um, and maybe you have a little bit of a passion, but you don't know how to grow your passion. But then you can network with others that have a similar type of passion. Losing weight, for example, they might be passionate about quitting smoking. They might be passionate about quitting smoking. Or they might be passionate about a hobby they have. Maybe you're passionate about painting. At some point in my life, I was so passionate about painting and I enjoyed that activity so much. But then I found other people that were passionate about it, and I spent a lot of time with them. And um, I spent one of the most amazing time in my life, right? And then um, continuing to find your passion, you can always go online, because online has a wealth of information. It's just so much information that sometimes you don't know what to do with that. But you can definitely search for what you're passionate about. Maybe you're just curious of that, and it would give you a definition of what that means, and then it will give you a lot of ideas. If you start typing how do I whatever, or how to do whatever, it's going to come up with a lot of ideas. Um, and then if you, let's say you're passionate about painting, but you're not so very good at it, or at least you think you're not very good, or maybe someone that has an opinion on you, that they have a different taste, they may tell you that you're not very good. Well, don't listen to them. I mean, listen a little bit. I mean, take the criticism as constructive criticism, and then maybe you take a course on painting, if painting is your passionate, or maybe you're just curious about it. Or maybe maybe you take a course on drawing, like start with charcoals. That's gonna teach you how, it's gonna teach you how to use the lights and the darks, and it might be very, very fulfilling to you. And then you get to meet more people that are passionate about same things, and those people might have different passion that might fall in line with your other passions, and then boom, beautiful things happen. And then you need to practice. You need to practice what you're good at. I mean, if you're curious about taking a class in painting and get a bad at it, or maybe you're just curious about it, you need to practice. If you don't practice, how are you going to get the skills? How are you going to achieve the goal? You know, and passion is very important. You don't have to be extremely passionate, you just have a little bit, and maybe sometimes you're just going to have a curiosity about it, and even the curiosity is going to take you to a passion, and that is what's going to motivate you to achieve the goal. Because if you set up goals and you're not motivated, how are you going to achieve the goals? And interesting enough, there is a science about motivation and setting up goals and how to go about it. So right now, to now, I'm giving you a little bit of information of how to go about it, but there is more to it, much more to it. And then if you have a job, whatever job you have at work, you can always find a little bit in that task that you're passionate about. It's something that you like to do. So whatever you like to do, there's a passion in it, right? There's a skill in it. So if your job, it's not bringing you a lot of smiles on your face, right? I don't want to say it differently, right? So if you don't get a lot of smiles out of your job, there's going to be something within the job that's going to bring you some satisfaction, that's going to bring you some smile on your face, and maybe portions of the day or portions of the month, you're going to find it fulfilling. Yeah. And then you can also work on a project with a body, yeah, or an accountability partner. Um, when I used to paint about, I don't know, 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago, I found painting buddies that we had similar interest in painting with acrylics, and it worked out magnificent for us. We would get together once a week, and we used each other's opinion on how to go about what we were going, and it was just the most beautiful, constructive criticism, and that helped a lot in getting a painting done and getting it done good enough. Maybe not good enough for other critics, but good enough for what you want to achieve. Um, and you can always teach someone something, because when you go about teaching, you will find resources that are dormant, and these resources are important, right? Very, very important. So maybe you can teach someone something, like you can teach kids something, or whomever, maybe a neighbor, or your child. You kind of have to teach a lot of things. Or maybe your significant other, you teach your significant other something, yeah? Um, because that's the quickest way to master something, when you teach it. Um, and then, of course, get a dedicated workroom, like in painting. I would have a dedicated workroom because painting requires some messing up. And now with hypnosis, I have a dedicated space for doing hypnosis, and it works very, very well. And then of course you're going to have obstacles, and there's no doubt about it. Obstacles that are going to be there, and discouragement. You're going to have some sort of discouragement, and when you think that not everything is going right. But don't just understanding that you're going to have obstacles, and then you're going to be discouraged. You fall off the horse. Get back on a horse, and keep on working at it, and keep yourself disciplined about it. Why? Because you are going to reap the rewards. You're going to reap the rewards, and when you set up a series of smaller goals to achieve the bigger goals, because that's how it goes. You set up a series of smaller goals to go for the bigger goal. Um, every time you achieve that little goal, your brain is going to release the neurotransmitter dopamine, which dopamine has a lot to do with satisfaction and you feeling good about what you did. So you see, set up smaller goal each day, and then feel good about it when you achieve them, and or feel good about it as the tasks go on, and then you're just going to have free dopamine. Your brain is going to release free dopamine. Your sympathetic part, your parasympathetic nervous system is going to be engaged. You're going to be more relaxed. So there's a lot of goodness that's happening inside your body, all for free, just because you're going to achieve the smaller step to achieving the bigger goal, and celebrating when you achieve the bigger goals. And when I say celebrating, I don't say celebrating with a big dinner. That's not necessarily required for a celebration, or alcohol is not always required for a celebration. You can always celebrate with a smile. Yeah, smiles are very important, and it brings you a great celebration. So I'm gonna have Randy come in with his wisdom to talk about motivation and goals, and how he would go about achieving goals. So Randy?
Well, I think, I mean, oh, by the way, happy National Hypnosis Day. Um, uh, think, well, having a goal has its positive and negatives. And one of, we talk a lot about goals every year, of course. Everybody, just all over everybody, all over everybody. And just want to have a goal, one that will have a goal. And one of the things I want to hypnosis is that goal achievement is not winning. And what that means is, for most people, it's not going from point A to point B direct. It's nice when that happens, but it's typically not like that. And everyone knows this from common sense of this. But one of the things this hypnosis teaches is that it's a very, it's like, I used to, when I was doing psychotherapy, I would point this out about goal achievement in therapy. When one looks at a track of an airplane going from point A to point B, it's not a straight line. We think it should be because they're flying a straight line. But when it's evaluated, when you really look at how a plane flies, not only is it going up and down different altitudes, but it also goes back and forth, left and right, different places. It's not a straight line. So I used to just point that as a metaphor for how people reach their goals and how they achieve what they want to achieve. It is stop or start. It's beginning and stopping. And I'll give you a little story that you probably heard this times. But this is an example of how goals work and how hypnosis approaches things. And it does have to do with Milton Erickson. Milton Erickson was very physically sick. He had polio twice. And everyone who's ever been associated with them, which are his books, are amazed at how much he achieved goal-wise being so handicapped. Or not handicapped, it's a wrong word these days, but being so challenged. So anyway, he was a well-known shot put thrower came to him wanting to improve his performance. And for him, that's a very common kind of client and actually wants to improve their performance. And he wanted to reach a national record, which meant he had to throw, I don't know the exact specifics, but it was something like throw another 4 inches farther than he ever. And for a shot put, that's the shot put on a barrel. So it was a major challenge for Richard Pudward. It's probably like that. But it was a very difficult, it was a goal he'd not been able to reach. He'd never been able to push it. And so Milton Erickson had an extremely interesting way of approaching that ended up that he was very surprised at how it went and what he did. It was really key being the Chuck Daddy was very intrigued about what he told him, what Erickson told him. It's something he'd never heard. So what Erickson did and what he told him and where he had him start was, he said, you want to throw another inch and a half. And we've tried many times, and we've come a little bit close, but not as near as close as you want. But you still want it. And as much as you keep trying and training, you can't get to that inch and a half mark. This is called joining and hypnosis or listening. He said, yeah, that's true. Then Erickson, it was very surprising to this afternoon. He said, well, you can try as much as you like, but one thing, the next time, what I want you to do, it's impossible at this point for you to throw an inch and a half ball, right? He said, yes. Of course, it didn't go like this. I mean, Erickson had some style of golf, which was the exact opposite of mine, but it would have been a much more hard. We accepted that this is a challenge, blah, 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 blah. And he said, Erickson said, so you're just You're unable to throw the pitch back. Would you rule that? Yes. But if you tried tomorrow, would you throw it an extra tenth of an inch? A tenth of an inch is 4 inches. Would you throw an extra tenth of an inch? He said, yeah, I think I could. He really pushed it. Well, here's what I want you to do. That wasn't the assignment that the athlete surprised him. But you know, he's a coach. I mean, Erickson's athletic, not coach, but he was coaching. And of course, he's going to say, try and throw a little under the ball. Improve your goal. Don't push yourself over the ball. That wasn't the thing that Erickson said to do. The thing that Erickson said to do that caught the athlete off guard and even working was he said, I want you to do that for a week and do not throw 1/2 centimeter more than a tenth of an inch. A tenth of an inch only, not 1/5 part. That's it. And he, before he said that, he had to have to agree that he would do whatever he told. So it was interesting. So, and to make a long story short, this went on for a couple of months. Well, actually, not long. I'm thinking it went on like 4 or 5 sessions. Eventually, the athlete did reach his goal and threw the shot put farther than anybody in the state had ever gone. Why was that? And what was the magic? What was the secret sauce? And the secret sauce was, to me, was going intuitively against what we want to do in trying to achieve something. Achieving just enough to be acceptable and leaving it at that. So that's all, and leaving it there, not pushing forward. So if I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, then I am going to stay with a pound a month or whatever I want to do. Stay with maybe 4 or 5 pounds every 2 weeks, and you do that very, very gradually, and it's just 1 or 5 pounds. And I'll give you one more example. You probably heard this story also. Another example of how a different way to approach weight loss. I won't make it bother. But, you know, every hypnotist in the world gets weight loss and smoking industry bread and butter. And so Erickson didn't want to approach it the traditional way because he was so different. He had a person who was binging. And she'd stop and feel guilty, and then she would binge again. A very typical pattern of binge. And what Erickson did was, instead of, I guess what I'm thinking, it's more of a breaking pattern. It's just changing the way the pattern is. And what Erickson did with her pattern was, he said, you have to be on a diet for 6 weeks. So 6 days a week. You need to be strict with your diet. You need to restrict things along the diet. And on day 7, you can binge. I don't want to. You have to be. He made it part of your diet, and she did. Why? Because he wanted to break the pattern of binging, dieting, failing, binging, failing, dieting, a circular pattern the person had on the diet, being starving, binging, feeling guilty, binge eating, going back on the diet. We wanted to break that pattern, and that's how we did it. Sometimes we can do that on our own. Sometimes as a professional, to figure out what our patterns are. And you probably have a lot of stuff in your website. It's information for patterns of behavior that we want to change. Is that you have those, is that something you have on your website?
I had, and I still have a free challenge coming up on Sunday on goal setting. I had a free challenge on being motivated to set up your goals. because you need to be motivated to set up your goals, and how to find your motivation. And in this challenge, we go through a lot of self-reflection questions. So um, it's a very interacting, a very pleasant online class, and we have exercises to do to have you think in a certain direction that otherwise you wouldn't think. So it has you um, find out what resources you have, what you're good at, because sometimes you might be good at that, and you don't know that you're good at, and that's a shame because it's good to find out what you're good at. It's going to help you, right? Um, and then we go through self-reflection question. Then I have a little bit of assignment, and I ask you different question, and only go through those questions again. It's going to get your wheels thinking and have you discover things. And it's very, very important to be able to discover things, because you might be good at something and you think that that's no big deal, but it might be a big deal. And what if it's a big deal? And sometimes maybe you can take your passion and turn it into a job. And they say that when you like your job, you don't work a day in your life. So and maybe if you're very passionate about something and you want to try making money off of with your passion, maybe you can start doing that after work or in the weekends, and a lot of people do that. And once you get experience on that and you're more comfortable with the skill, because every employer looks for experience, and if you are not looking to be employed by a company, and if you want to start doing this all on your own, if you want to become a solopreneur, then you need to build some clients, some client base, so you can make a decent living. But what's something very, very interesting about finding your talent is that I don't know if everybody in hypnosis does that, but I do something called talent retrieval. So, so it's a very different kind of hypnosis, and it helps you. It helps you go into your subconscious, because in hypnosis you're completely relaxed, and in hypnosis you don't have your wheels thinking, and then it helps you access resources in your subconscious that is going to direct you of your talent. So we do a talent retrieval, or maybe that talent, you had a talent in who knows when and you forgot about it. Sometimes they say, a lot of people that do past life regression, they say that past life regression might be able to bring your talent. But past life regression is not about talent retrieval. So it's kind of a similar concept, only that you go look for a particular talent, which the hypnotist helps you do that. And I happen to do talent retrieval. I had my own talent retrieval done many, many years ago. And what do you think the talent was? The talent that I retrieved? Hypnosis and healing and helping people. And at the time when I retrieved it, and that was done about 10 years ago, I couldn't believe it. I figured that's a talent. That's all I retrieved, because I wanted to, I was painting at the time, and I wanted to retrieve the talent of getting beautiful paintings, more beautiful than what I already painted. I wanted to come up with something different. And I was kind of disappointed that I didn't retrieve a talent on painting. But I retrieved what I retrieved, and now I am very good at hypnosis. And shortly after that, I got so deep into spirituality, so deep into shamanism. And shamanism is the first what shamanism is. Psychology developed from shamanism, and of course psychology took different routes, but in shamanism there's a lot of hypnosis involved. There's something called journeying, shamanic journeying, and in the journeying, only in the journey you can retrieve talents. And I've done a lot of shamanic journeying, and they're beautiful to do. I enjoy them, and I kind of miss doing them. I need to get back to it. Um, uh, I um, I was able to retrieve some talents and get a better idea of and shamanic journey is not done with a guidance like hypnosis is done, and and um, and only doing that for such a long time and then taking that and being able to guide other people uh, in other stuff, not necessarily shamanic journeying, um, it brought me so much closer to hypnosis, and it helped me develop the skill of a hypnotist, and I'm a damn good hypnotist because of that. I mean, I've gone to hypnosis school and I'm board certified and all that, so I'm not using spirituality for that because a lot of people look down on that. But just having to go through that experience, it was something amazing. And I don't think I would have gotten into that direction of a healing direction if I wouldn't retrieve the talent of a healer. So it's very interesting how things happen um, without you appreciating what you have or appreciating what you retrieve, but eventually you're gonna get to what you're passionate about. And if you're 20, 30 years old and you don't know your passion, that's okay. You know, I found my passion later in life, and that's okay. I'm happy with that. But keep on going and go for what you want, and set up the goals you want, and look for what you like doing and what you're passionate about, and start looking into that, and you're definitely going to find something. Randy?
Yeah, it takes some, excitement, just like you said, to the point. And we really go to a workshop, like Carmen's mentioning, would be really, really helpful. Even if you're not, you know, even if you just want to improve things in your life. And one doesn't have to be searching for a meaning to life or an existential crisis, so to speak. They might have some of daily life, but then they have some talent in it, and then they enjoy doing it. So I think it's a point. It's to be very, very self. It's work to self-learn. We learn a lot about this life. It's a good way to see what I have said, yeah, in the workshop conversation, it's just going to get the way to show, find out what about yourself that you maybe out of that, maybe you know, may need some talking to get to. The exercises at the conversation, workshop, that was the exercises at the conversation earlier. You want that team, kind of like that. Can be really cool in terms of determining where someone's skills are and what they really enjoy doing. And, you know, one of the things that I still do, yeah, really on this, but having a passion doesn't mean it's my job. It's not necessarily a lot of people, many people who work with their passions, well, it's something about, but you're not just going money for it. The passion comes in the hours of waiting. And that's where life becomes more meaningful, more real, more. We have a lot of that ability in this country to be able to do. And this becomes squandered and stuff to do. Um, so, yeah. I mean, one of my passions has been movies. And back in my life, I used to have this fantasy of love to be a movie director. That was way, way long before internet thing back in the food channels. And that was just such a awe. And it's nowadays it's kind of anyone can be a director practically. But now I still enjoy that passion, even though it has time. Passion is not something I really do. And not great, but then there's little line that it's great. Very, 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 very hard. So anyway, I have a passion, and it's something that enhances a person's life because it doesn't give it a direction, but it gives it meaning. It's spice to it, it's style of it. Then the stuff is to let it work for bread, it being work for herbs, bean sprouts. Anyway, it's just my heart.
So some of the things that you can do, like I have this a document on the screen that is going to help you. There are some self-reflection questions that you can use to have you get to what you want to get. And we all, when we go about achieving goals and trying to find our motivation, we're going to find obstacles, and it's not going to, we're going to be disappointed. So as hard as it is to go accomplish that goals and having obstacles, there is something positive about it every single day. So if you can reflect on the following: when met with negative things, take a minute to search for an upside of the situation. There's always something good about the situation. Even if you're not having a good day, there is an upside to the situation. And just think about it, and you're going to find it, or maybe talk about it with someone, and you're going to find what that upside is. And being positive, when you are positive, you're gonna get positive in a return. And it's not that difficult to be positive. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity, because that's a bit too much, but it's not that difficult to be positive. Think on a bright side, they say. And then the third the thing is that take time to find joy in the little things in life. And the passion and the talent doesn't have to be so big. Maybe you're passionate about enjoying the botanic garden, or passionate about enjoying a sunny day, or enjoying sunsets. Or there's a lot of people that enjoy sunrises, and they get up early every morning and enjoy the sunrise. And guess what? They enjoy that little activity, and their body gets flooded with dopamine. So you want to have all of this good, this happy neurotransmitters flooding you. So when you find yourself doubting yourself about you achieving a goal or not, you can start asking you, am I a positive person? Are you positive about the goal that you're about to achieve? Number one, yeah? And number two, what happens if I see the glass half full instead of half empty? So whatever difficulties you have, there's something positive about that event, about that situation. So if you look for the glass being half full, it's going to help you. So people that see the glass half empty, they're usually on a pessimistic side. So I'm not asking you to be overly optimistic, but optimism in achieving goals, it's always going to help. Optimism is going to be your friend. And then something else to reflect is that with your positive attitude, can you help someone through a difficult situation? Just by having a positive attitude. Because sometimes when someone goes through a difficult situation, you might want to go down with them, and there is a belief that when somebody dies, there is a belief that if a person that you're helping, grieving someone that they lost, there is a wrong belief that you have to grieve with them. Well, sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. And if you stay positive about that, it's going to help that person that is grieving. And how are you going to stay positive? Because of someone dying is the biggest tragedy. Well, the way you're going to stay positive is like, you can say like, well, at least they're not suffering. At least they're not in pain. Well, they've gone to heaven. Well, they've gotten their wings and have gotten to heaven. So there's always something positive to say about things. And also, Patrick Henry said that I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. Well, no kidding. If you keep on dreaming in the past, then you're not going to achieve any goals. You're not going to be motivated. So the past is gone. Not much you can do about it other than learn. So learn from your past. Learn from the mistakes that you made. Learn from the successes that you made in the past. And some of the self-reflection question on that is number one, am I constantly looking for ways to improve myself? Are you? So I'm constantly looking for ways to improve myself, or at least something that I'm doing. I want to do it well. I'm passionate about doing things well. Do I do everything well? No, but I don't stop working on doing things well. And then number two, as a self-reflection, is there anything I'd like to do or say, but something in my past keeps stopping me? Oh, that's a good one. So reflect on that. What is it from your past that is keeping you from doing something that you like? And then number three is that, do I tend to think negatively about situations because of things that I've dealt in the past? So you see, it's not much you can do about the past other than learn from it. And oftentimes we get stuck in the past. Well, sometimes there's trauma in it. But even with trauma, we can work on the trauma with hypnosis. There's so many other therapies available for trauma. And if you look at what's keeping you from doing what you like from the past, you're going to find if you begin to self-reflect on it, yeah? And if you find yourself thinking negatively, just, oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm not good at it, and nobody's going to like it, and it's not going to benefit anybody. Well, I don't know who's liking my podcast here, me and Randy, and I don't know how many people are benefiting from it, but I know the people that are benefiting in it, and they tell me about it. So there it is. I go with it. So something like this, you also can do something like this. All right? So Randy, is there something you want to add?
No, I think those are all great points. I like that the self-reflection questions. Yeah, I think that those are very useful, very helpful, and, um, yeah, and I think that's just as well. Do you have anything to add to it?
All right. So then we can say good night for right now, and we will come back with more material to delight yourself because we are having fun with this, and hopefully we can delight yourself with ways, with ideas, and ways that help you think a little differently and to take you to achieve the goals that you set up to achieve. And if you're not doing very good at it, we can always help you with a hypnosis session. Uh, Definitely Ericksonian. Ericksonian hypnosis is very motivational and very, it works with, it helps you with the language of Ericksonian hypnosis. It has you think about it. It gives you options. It's very permissive, so it gives you options. So once you have options, then you can choose. We can choose from it. All right. So we'll see you next time. We'll see you next time, and hopefully you enjoyed this. And send me your comments. Send me your questions. What would you like to hear? What else can we talk about to have you be better, do better, achieve those things that you want to achieve. All right.